A very good afternoon to you and welcome to this live broadcast from Parliament buildings in Nairobi, the Senate to be specific. It is Wednesday, 19th day of July. The year is 2023. It is the second session of the 13th Parliament. And we're getting ready for the second sitting of the Senate today, or at least what will have been the second sitting, but ideally it is the first, saying that this morning, the morning sitting adjourned due to a lack of quorum. It was impossible for the House to attain the minimum 15 members that is required in order for business to be transacted in the Senate. And that situation compelled the Speaker, the Honorable Amason Kingi, to adjourn the sitting until this afternoon. In the morning, it was to be a question and answer segment in which the Cabinet Secretary Education, Ezekiel Machogu, was expected. However, that did not take place, and hopefully it will be slotted at another date in the future. This afternoon, members are expected to consider a number of bills and motions. In fact, 4 bills will be amended in a committee of the whole. Members shall be making a decision as regards the fate of the Natural Resources Benefit Sharing Bill, Senate Bill number 6 of the year 2022. This is sponsored by Senator Dankson Mungatana. There is the Cotton Industry Development Bill, Senate Bill number 5, sponsored by Senator Beth Siengo. And then the Employment Amendment Bill, Senate Bill number 11 of the year 2022, sponsored by Senator Samson Cherargei, as well as the Learners with Disabilities Bill, Senate Bill number 4 of the year 2023, sponsored by Senator Professor Margaret Kamar. This afternoon, we'll see the introduction of 2 new bills in the Senate, both money bills: the Public Finance Management Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 16 of the year 2023, and the County Government's Additional Allocations Bill, National Assembly Bill number 23 of the year 2023. These are bills that are emanating from the National Assembly. They have already been approved there, and they're coming to the Senate for concurrence, just so that thereafter the process of facilitating financially the devolved units can commence. A look at the motions lined up for debate this afternoon, if the time allows. There is the designation of a monthly car-free day and county-free zones. It is a motion sponsored by nominated Senator Crystal Asige that seeks to promote a clean and healthy environment by bringing into effect the National Climate Change Action Plan and identifying transportation as one of the 4th largest contributor to greenhouse gas emissions, which, if uncontrolled, will result in the negative impact of climate change. And therefore, through this motion, the Senate will be urging the Ministry of Roads and Transport, in collaboration with the Council of Governors and the National Climate Change Council, to, among others, identify, publicize, and execute suitable monthly car-free days and county car-free zones in urban centers. Another motion lined up is from the Chairperson Standing Committee on Health, and this one speaks to the adoption of a report of that standing committee that inquired or considered the death of the late Edward Otieno Onyango due to medical negligence. Another motion still on medical negligence will be submitted by the same committee, and that will be a report on the death of one Maureen Anyango at the Mama Lucy Referral Hospital in Nairobi. 3 petitions are lined up this afternoon. Of course, the petitions and the questions and statements segments all coming before debate on bills and motions. And that petition includes one from Mr. Elijah Madhungi concerning discrimination against health workers in the Ministry of Health. A live broadcast brought to you by the Parliamentary Broadcasting Unit in conjunction with the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. My name is Vereso Mwanga. On behalf of the entire crew, I welcome you to follow the session. Good afternoon.
Let us pray. Almighty God, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favor and blessings us, your servants, whom you've been pleased to call to leadership positions in this republic. We seek guidance to treat and consider all matters that shall come under deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you've committed to our charge. Amen. Clerk, do we have quorum? Sergeant at Arms, kindly ring the quorum bell for 10 minutes.
If you're just joining us, you are in time for live proceedings from the Senate this Wednesday afternoon. Currently, we have the quorum bell ringing. It will do so for 10 minutes as ordered by the Speaker, the Right Honorable Amason Kingi, who's presiding over this session. A minimum 15 members is required in order for a quorum to be attained, and that is as spelled out in the standing orders of the Senate. That bell will ring for 10 minutes. If that number is achieved, then business can go on. If not, then it will be rang for another 10 minutes, after which the Speaker has the discretion to adjourn the sitting to the next time as scheduled, a situation that we saw happening this morning. Once we do constitute the requisite numbers, then members shall proceed to prosecute issues as listed on the order paper. This Wednesday, the 19th of July, senators will be receiving in the House the Public Finance Management Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 16 of the year 2023, and the County Government's Additional Allocation Bill, National Assembly Bill number 23 of the year 2023, both from the National Assembly, both of which are money bills that will guide the allocation of funds to all 47 county governments in the country. Very crucial pieces of legislation that are required and are of essence in order for counties to function. Also pending before the House is debate on the Persons with Disabilities Bill, Senate Bill number 7 of the year 2023. Debate on this issue began yesterday, courtesy of the mover-nominated Senator Crystal Asige, a bill also seconded by Nandi Senator Samson Cherargei, that speaks to the recognition of persons with disabilities in terms of ensuring they have equal access to resources ranging from education, employment, health, accessing public spaces, and that also includes public transportation. Senators are also expected to take a vote on 3 bills: the Natural Resources Benefit Sharing Bill, Senate Bill number 6 of the year 2022, sponsored by Senator Danson Mungatana; the Cotton Industry Development Bill, Senate Bill number 5 of the year 2023, sponsored by Senator Beth Siengo; and the Employment Amendment Bill, Senate Bill number 11 of the year 2022, sponsored by Senator Samson Cherargei. Those 3 bills are currently before the Committee of the Whole, undergoing various amendments, and senators will be deciding on whether to approve those amendments and the entire bills as it were. 3 papers are also expected to be presented, tabled in the Senate this afternoon. 3 reports, all from the Auditor General. One on the financial statement of the Nyeri Water and Sanitation Company Limited for the year ended 30th June 2022. Another on the financial statement of the Mumias Municipality for 22 months, a period ending 30th June 2022. And the other, a financial statement of Thika Municipality for the year ended 30th June 2022. These 3 reports will be tabled for consideration by senators this afternoon. Also pending before the Senate, 3 petitions. One from Mr. Elijah Madhungi on behalf of the Supply Chain Management Assistants, and this concerns discrimination against other health workers in the Ministry of Health, a petition that will be delivered in the Senate by the Speaker himself. There is also a report of the Standing Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs and Human Rights on a petition to the Senate concerning the delay in developing and launching a Victims' Rights Charter as provided for under Victim Protection Act number 17 of the year 2014. And then there is also another report from the same committee, and that is from Mr. Paulo Mosbey and 19 others concerning historical injustices suffered by the Toro Bay community, a community that is seeking recognition and identification as a marginalized community, and that is seeking to have their rights upheld as all Kenyans. Also lined up are a number of questions, 3 to be exact, and statements. One is from nominated Senator Hamida Kibwana. She'll be seeking a statement from the Standing Committee on Health regarding alleged medical negligence at the Kiambu County Referral Hospital, a facility that has been making news in the recent past. One of the most recent cases being a woman whose baby died during delivery. And then there is another statement that is required from the Standing Committee on Health regarding the status of medical care at the Mathare Mental and Referral Hospital, a statement that is being sought by the same Senator Hamida Kibwana. And then nominated Senator Esther Okenyuri will be seeking a statement from the Standing Committee on National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations concerning the boundary delimitation between Kenya and Uganda in Lake Victoria. All those and much more are expected in this afternoon's sitting, and that is if a quorum is attained. Remember, 15 members are required, or at least that is what the standing orders require, that they need to be 15 for business to be conducted in the Senate. The quorum bell is still ringing. Clarion call really to members who may be within the precincts of Parliament, but who are yet to come into the Senate chambers to do so. This being the second day of sittings, senators having resumed plenary sessions yesterday, that is Tuesday, 18th July. They just returned from a 2-week break. And there is quite a bit that requires their attention. In the Senate, via debates of bills and motions and reports and petitions, in addition to the other roles that they undertake in the various committees in which they serve, and which also run sessions, sometimes concurrently with the plenary sittings. If that quorum is attained, there is also expected the tabling of evidence by 2 senators, and they are Senator Daniel Manzo and Senator Samson Cherargei, and this regards remarks they made yesterday evening when the Senate adjourned sittings to discuss the ongoing anti-government protests.
Proceed to ring the quorum bell yet again for 10 minutes.
Well, another directive from the Speaker as regards the composition of the House. He has just ordered the continuation of the quorum bell, that is the ringing, and this is because the House, as it is, does not have the required numbers. Senators making their way into the chambers. The orderlies right outside the door, keeping tabs as they clock in for this sitting. Before that directive from the Speaker, I was just giving you a brief of what is expected this afternoon. And in addition to the listed order of business in the order paper, there is also the tabling of evidence as directed by the Honorable Veronica Maina yesterday evening during a session in which senators were deliberating on the anti-government protests led by the opposition, currently going on in some parts of the country. And during that session yesterday, there was quite a heated debate during which senators made counter accusations as regards instigators of the violence or the pockets of violence witnessed last Wednesday during the protests, and especially clashes that erupted in Sondu, where there were allegations that it is the opposition that is funding that particular criminal activity, and the opposition side also saying that the police brutality witnessed was instigated by the majority side, and that is the government. And the presiding speaker at that time directing that both sides table evidence to support those allegations. Meanwhile, those protests, as led by the opposition, are going on in some parts of the country. The opposition had indicated that protests will be there for 3 days this week. That is today, Wednesday, tomorrow, Thursday, and the day after, which is Friday, a situation that occasioned the closure of public day primary and secondary schools in the capital, Nairobi, and in the coastal city of Mombasa, as well as the lakeside city of Kisumu. And a situation really that could perhaps be the reason why the numbers are so low in the Senate this afternoon. Perhaps members also caught up in that situation, or maybe choosing to stay away from the city. It is a deserted city, at least around the CBD. Not many people in town. A situation that is very well replicated even in Parliament. Members of the House leadership, the elderlies, doing their best to rally members to come in and participate in the session, where senators are expected to discuss a range of issues spanning from finances to just the social well-being of the citizens they serve, the electorate who put them in the Senate to legislate on their behalf. Just a look at what the standing orders say as regards a quorum. The standing orders of the Senate, Standing Order 39 speaks to a quorum of the Senate or a committee of the whole being 15 senators, meaning for anything to happen in the Senate this afternoon, there have to be 15 senators, and also because they need to be discussing and making amendments to a number of bills, they will be required to be 15 for that committee of the whole sitting. Standing Order 40 says the quorum at commencement of a sitting of the Senate shall be 15, and if there is no quorum present when the chair is taken at the time appointed for a sitting of the Senate, the Speaker shall immediately after the prayer order the bell to be rung for 10 minutes. That has already happened. We are now on the second installment of the 10 minutes bell, which is also provided for in section 42 of the standing orders, where it will ring for 10 minutes. And if there is still no quorum present, then the Speaker shall adjourn the Senate forthwith to the next sitting. That situation we witnessed this very morning, and at the expiration of the current period of 10 minutes, we will be awaiting further directions from the Speaker regarding the fate of this sitting, which would have been the second of the day, but which will be ideally the first if it happens. The quorum bell is still ringing. A lack of numbers. It is the situation currently in the Senate. on this Wednesday. It is the first Wednesday after they resumed sittings from a 14-day break. Also, it is a sitting in which they were expected to consider, or are expected to consider, a number of bills and motions and reports and statements, petitions as well. But all that depends on whether or not the requisite numbers are achieved this afternoon. Just a look at some of the bills that are still pending before the Senate. Debate on the Heritage and Museums Bill, Senate Bill number 8 of the year 2023. That speaks to setting up regulation for the management of museums and facilities that are deemed to be custodians of Kenya's heritage. There is the Kenyan Sign Language Bill, Senate Bill number 9 of the year 2023. The Coffee Bill, Senate Bill number 10 of the year 2023. And the Prevention of Livestock and Produce Theft Bill, Senate Bill number 12 of the year 2023. These are three other very, very important draft laws that are awaiting debate in the Senate. The Speaker consulting with the clerk, perhaps just trying to get the way forward.
Honorable Senators, you may rise. There being no quorum, and having rung the bell pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 42, the Senate stands adjourned until tomorrow, Thursday, 20th July, 2023 at 2:30 p.m.
The final directive by the Speaker of the Senate, the Right Honorable Amason Kingi, regarding the fate of the sittings today and this afternoon, as it were. A quorum hitch has once again occasioned adjournment of the Senate. The House could not raise 15 members for proceedings to go ahead, and therefore the session has been adjourned until tomorrow, Thursday, the 20th of July. And on that note, we'd like to thank you for choosing to follow this broadcast that was brought to you by the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation in conjunction with the Parliamentary Broadcasting Unit. My name is Vereso Mwanga, and I want to take you back to Broadcasting House for the rest of the programming. Good afternoon.